I got to play. It's a guy that we both like.
There's one that sold for 61 on April 27th.
Damn.
Free shipping. Hell yeah, man.
It's not the obvious guys that win you your league.
Oh, I'm on the clock. Oh, no, I got auto pick.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, you missed your pick. People start going way off the board here.
That's a steal, baby.
I was clicking the button. This is all messed up now. How do we get so many auto picks? 2, 1.
Nailed it.
Welcome back to the Football Card Quest. I'm your host, Andy Kazin. Got my main man here, eBay, Steve the eBay Hitman Caladesi. And we're just 1 week out from the Super Bowl. Guys, we got a really exciting live stream tonight. We're going to be covering the top NFL news, of course, correlating that with the sports card market. We're going to talk about some of these coaching hires. We're going to talk about the hottest sellers right now, some guys that we're targeting in auctions. Maybe look at some live eBay auctions tonight and some deals on ComC. And we also, it's time, Steve. We got to put my skills to the test, see if I can auto pick. We're going to do a fantasy football draft tonight. How's that sound, man?
Oh, man, I've been waiting a long time to hear those words, man. The highlight of the offseason, aside from just doing the show every week, is, in fact, best ball drafts.
And you guys are probably wondering, how the heck are you guys going to do a fantasy draft? Well, it's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code Quest. Go ahead and get signed up. Get your instant deposit bonus up to 100%. And they've got their what's called their big board draft. And they've already got the college players. You just don't know where they're going to land. So you got to speculate. You got to try and anticipate where they're going to land. And that makes it really fun. You can also get some really good values right now. So as we go pick by pick through the draft, we're also going to talk about how their fantasy ADP or average draft position is carried over to sports card value, and some of the cards we target for those players and where their average values are at and whether that's undervalued or overvalued. So buckle up, get ready to dig in. It's going to be a fun stream. But Steve, got to kick it off, man. Get your reactions. I know you're watching championship week. We didn't quite hit on Underdog on the prop bets, but the Lions, man, what was your reaction to the Lions 49ers game?
I'll be honest, after the choice to not kick the field goal and go for it, I had a really bad feeling. That's usually how games suddenly shift momentum and turn around. So, that being said, I know that there was a couple people, at least there was one notable gentleman in the comments who saw the show and thought that was an awful take, that the Chiefs and Lions would play. Not too far off, man. Not too far off. Minor choke away from being reality there. So Niners now playing the Chiefs. I think we're going to have a good game on our hands. But, man, would it have been nice? This was a long time in the making, from being called a Goff, a Goff pusher to the Lions being almost in the Super Bowl.
Man, I appreciate the love in the chat here. We got our man Gabe Davis. Actually got an early notification. Let's go. Yeah, I set the stream up earlier today. I was thinking just about you, Gabe Davis. Every time I set the stream up early, I'm thinking about Gabe Davis. I'm like, I'm going to do this just for Gabe. Even put Gabe on the thumbnail. I mean, it's just coincidental, but not really. It's all pre-planned. All pre-planned, baby. Brian says, "Bay, wake up. FCQ live." That sounds awesome. That should be part of our intro. I've got Lee Aaron in the house, Swamp Donkey off grid. Jason Mann, let's go. Jason Mann has been an advocate for our CGC sponsorship. Shout out to CGC, home of the clearest plastic optics in the grading market, with $12 submission and less than 40-day turnaround times. We love it. Look who's in the chat. Oh my God, Messiah MVP. And right as we got looks like new user. No, this can't be a new user, but the username is Bush and Messiah only come to pay the rake. Let's go, man. I hope you got the Red Bulls stocked up. Perfect timing. We're drafting today. You can pay the rake as usual, Messiah. Messiah says, "Been awake. I'm not I'm just not a loner on the net all day like you. Oh man, this is gonna be awesome. It's already
Hey,
getting going in the chat.
this is taking me back to the
D.
off season, Andy.
Mad Cards in the house just sniped a Burrow Select 346 silver field level PSA 10 for 515. Let's check that out in the app as we've got our Keep 'em app pulled up right now that tracks all the graded football card prices from eBay. It also tracks the daily buy it now best offer sold volume of all rookie cards for these players. Steve, Brock Purdy's still crushing it. 675 in the past 24. And we're now, 4 days removed from championship game and a week and a few days away from the Super Bowl. I mean, this is pretty insane. You could see the volume on Patrick Mahomes up that high too. And those are rookie cards. So people are obviously getting really creative on Mahomes to buy him right now too.
Yeah, I wonder what the after effect would have been had they actually lost. I would have been curious to see, because everyone has got him at the top of their board, just like you see on the chart here for, who is the hottest player. You can tell by when you look at the prices of even his base cards, and the serial numbers don't even get me started how expensive those are. And then you go to the case hits and the rookie ticket autos, yada, yada, yada. I mean, all-time highs for his cards right now. And it's actually cool to see, if you've been following even stuff like golf cards, not really haven't fallen off despite them getting eliminated. They're actually still going for good numbers because I've been keeping an eye on them myself. So,
yeah, I saw Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. They're still popping off, man. I think people are still really buzzed, really hyped about the Lions' chances. They're like, no, so many things had to go wrong for the Lions in the third quarter. Plus, so many things had to go right. I mean, the ball bounces a different way off of what's his name's back, and Brandon Ayuk doesn't catch that. Like, I mean, that was just a crazy, once in 10 years type of play that we saw. I mean, that game was just wild, man. Talk about thrilling. It was absolutely wild. But man, these Brock Purdy prices of base prism up over $200 compared to Joe Burrow at 133 right now. Trend on Joe Burrow. I mean, there's a pretty big difference. I know Brock Purdy's got fewer rookie cards, but Joe Burrow's proven he can take down Mahomes. I'm not sure Brock Purdy and the 49ers can take down Mahomes and the Chiefs.
you got to wonder, and we always have these kind of discussions when there's a hot player and there's a cold player. Burrow with not making the playoffs, Burrow with, being injured for most of the year. You looked at the base prisms and where those prices are, for $400, you could get 2 Purdys or you could get 3 Burrows, PSA 10s. I mean, I think that's an easy choice. I'd buy the Burrows, but Andy, what about yourself? What would you take in that situation?
Yeah, I'll take the Burrows. I'll take the Burrows. I've got a lot of because I think he's going to be good for a long time. Plus he's got the draft capital. This is like Purdy's kind of locked in. There's a lot of people that are still going to peg him as a system quarterback, and even after having a good solid few years, just being Mr. Irrelevant is going to make it an uphill battle for him to go get a really good job somewhere else. Like he could go through a stretch of bad games like he did last year, and there's potential they let him walk after his initial contract because they got nothing to really lose there. I mean, yeah. So I'm gonna go with Burrow. I'm looking at his field level silver that Mark sniped. He said he got it for what did he say? He get that for 500, 515, 515, which is lower than the latest comp of 521. But look at that. Look at that October number, 935, early September of 1,000. And you had a couple. I mean, it's only a pop 570 card. Pretty popular. I mean, field level silver, Steve, how would you kind of rank that amongst all the sets? I mean, field level silvers have always been one of those cards, especially in a PSA 10 that's been pretty popular.
Yeah, beautiful card, great photo. It says the grade rate is 67, but that is not necessarily indicative of all the prints being that high of a gem rate, just 67% of those submitted. So I do like the scarcity. I do like the picture. And, for a lot of people, 2020 is a special year because for a lot of people, that was when they got back in the hobby. So this is this particular card and some of the other Burrow rookies are very, unique in their mind, and it will probably have a long-term effect if they stay in the hobby for a long period of time too.
Speaking of long period of time, Brian just mentioned in the chat about a Brady Bowman rookie PSA 8. It's from the year 2000. Bowman being probably his most iconic rookie card. They're kind of cheap, sitting at $600-700. I mean, Brady is he still the GOAT even though he's retired? I guess until Patrick Mahomes has more Super Bowl rings than him.
Well, he is, and he'll be back on TV sooner than later, doing the broadcasting stuff. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be a long time till anybody dethrones Brady. But this is the normal course of things. Like when a player announces his retirement, there's that immediate spike, and then there's a taper down over time, and then you'll get random flare-ups, here and there. But for the most part, it's about as static as an investment as you can get.
Yeah, you can see those late July auctions of that 2000 Bowman Tom Brady spiking to $1,200. Buy it now, $1,200 auction. Even August, like $1,100, and September $850. Still a $1,300 buy it now. Like people are like, nah, $1,100. It's kind of, yeah, you're right. It's slowly tapered down. Here's a couple 600s. And now, yeah, it's sitting right around 635. Current trend, 716.
We talk about pop counts here and there. I mean, 2,300 pop count is really low, honestly, when you think about the grand scheme of things. And this is a card that's quite old. I don't anticipate very many more being added to the database. If you have a card like this, unless it's lost in a basement binder somewhere, you've probably already sent it in if it's grade worthy and already gotten a 10. So,
yeah, I mean, overall, market's holding strong over the 6-month trend. Even some of his more obscure stuff, like the Pacific Aurora and the score base, are up a little bit. In fact, so yeah, I mean, I think Brady's always going to be relevant forever. Like that, the guy from Sandlot, just forever. All right, Steve, some coaching changes this week. We got the draft order set. Big coaching changes today. The Raiders are expected to hire former Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator for the Raiders.
Yeah, man. I don't know what I think about that move just yet. It's not a good move. I'm not a huge fan of the guy. I don't think he's that good, but maybe there's something we don't know. Maybe they got a trade package set up for the Bears, and they're trying to trade up to 1, maybe, and that would make a little more sense if that was true. But bring back the clap. But yeah, maybe, who knows? But yeah, if they're not trading up to 1, I think it's just a meh acquisition.
What do you think of the Patriots head coaching hire, Gerard Mayo? And so he's a defensive minded coach, from what I understand, former linebacker, and now he's also assigned his offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt, defensive coordinator, DeMarcus Covington, special teams coordinator, Jeremy Springer. It looks like we may see a totally new Patriots team this year. Like, I think this is one of the teams that it could go very good or very bad. What's your reaction to the Patriots coaching hires?
I mean, they've always done unexpectedly well on defense, so I don't see them dropping off in that aspect. They did pick up some good young players last year defensively, so those guys will be back and healthy. It does feel like a full knockdown to me at this point, and they're just trying to build it back up. I know a lot of people think that they're going to go out and get a free agent like T. Higgins or any of the other receivers that are out there, like Marquise Brown, but I don't think they are. They're not proven to go out and get veteran guys. When they do typically get them, they're at the end of their career arc already. So they've been known to get guys that you wouldn't think were good, and they become good because they fit that plan specifically. So I think that's probably the route they continue going with.
Yeah, this is interesting, man, because the Gerard Mayo is their former linebackers coach for the past few years. So it's not like he's not going to be calling the offense much. But you look at Alex Van Pelt, he's got a lot of coaching experience in the NFL with offenses. Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the past 3 years. Before that, the Bengals quarterbacks coach before Joe Burrow. So that's, not the greatest Bengals quarterbacks coaching years. Green Bay Packers quarterbacks coach. So definitely got a quarterback offensive-minded offensive coordinator. So I think this could go wildly in different directions. I got to think that, they draft a quarterback here in the beginning. They're picking at number 3 overall, Steve. I got to think that they're going quarterback. I also think that Mac Jones could end up being a starter on a different team based on his draft capital and the fact that he flashed in his rookie season. If you remember back to his rookie season, his based honors rated rookie were all the rage, and those PSA 10 based honors shot up to like $2,000, and now that's a $30 card, as it should be. I do think he could be a starter somewhere, and I think Bailey Zappi is a really good backup to have, kind of like Gardner Minshew. Zappi, I think, is a good backup. I think the Patriots draft a quarterback. I just don't know how good it's going to go. Obviously, they don't have really any weapons other than Ramondre Stevenson, and maybe, like Demario Pop Douglas. He's okay, but they really need some other wide receivers there as well. So what do you think the Patriots do here at number 3? You think it's quarterback?
Yeah, I do. And it's funny, Valcorp just asked the question too. And answering your question as well, I do think that Mac Jones does end up a starter on another team this year. And I do think that Zappi's the backup. Drake May seems like the most clear-cut choice, but we don't know. They could potentially trade down, get somebody like J.J. McCarthy, perhaps. Hard to say. He's got a very similar profile to like a Brady-esque type QB, a little bit. So that's my take on that. They have been linked to guys like Marquise Brown for free agents who will, garner a nice payday, not top of the free agent pool money, but high payday nonetheless, as being one of the better free agents on the market at his position. So I do think that as far as like where Mac Jones could go, man, there's a lot of options. And you know what? If the Raiders don't go and get a quarterback, that could potentially be a team as well.
Yeah, potentially. I also want to ask you about your Bears, man, with the number 1 and the number 9 overall pick. You guys bring in the offensive coordinator from Seattle. What was his name? It's slipping my mind right now.
Oh, yeah. I actually just saw that yesterday. It's been hectic at work, so I'm honestly not up to all the
I forget his name, but he's been the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks for a few years. He's partially responsible, along with who I think Dave Canales, partially responsible for resurrecting Geno Smith's career there. But yeah, you guys bring him in. You keep your head coach Matt Eberflus, right? And so now you're faced with a big decision on what you do with Justin Fields with the number 1 overall pick, the number 9 overall pick, and a ton of cap space. What do you think the Bears do?
A lot of people think that with that coordinator signing that they're keeping Fields, which does kind of make sense if you look at, his role with Seattle. There's another group of people that claim that they've talked to Ryan Poles and it's a done deal. They're drafting a quarterback. I mean, nobody really knows, honestly. They could change their mind with a second left on the envelope and change their minds. So, damn. Oh, that's an 8. Okay.
Sorry, I just thought I was looking at PSA 10s too.
I was like,
People
they're probably
watching were
10
like,
bucks.
"Holy
They're probably
crap!"
10
He's going to eBay. But no, you really can't get a PSA 10 base optic Mac Jones right now for $10. I mean, that is the absolute basement dirt floor price for Mac Jones. I mean, look at this. Rookie ticket auto PSA 8 for like $30. So, I mean, that's kind of really comparable to the raw price. So if you're telling me I can get a raw rookie ticket auto for Mac Jones for like $30 in auction or less, I might go buy one just to have it in case they trade him and he becomes a starter somewhere. I don't think people will immediately get all hyped up and excited, but I do think, if he goes to a team like the Raiders, they get an easier than average schedule to start the season. You got a guy like Devontae Adams who nobody can cover. That could be interesting. Could be quite interesting for his rookie card value when you're buying this cheap. Let me reiterate, the price point here is what is really getting me excited a lot, just as a flyer, because this is insanely cheap for a first-round rookie quarterback.
Right. I mean, let's just use the average of the two, $30. You go and pick up one for $30 and he signs to a team. They announce him the starter. I mean, on that news alone, it's an easy double up, in my opinion. And if he plays well, then you're talking about now it's 100. Now it's 150 potentially, because just about any starter in the league, rookie ticket auto as a QB is, in the $100 range, if not much higher.
These 2021 quarterbacks are down across the board. And I said rookie, I said first round rookie quarterback. I just want to make sure people understand. 2021 rookie, I was talking about rookie cards, as in these are first round quarterbacks, rookie cards that are going for this cheap. Makes them very appetizing to potentially buy, especially with Mac potentially on the move and Justin Fields potentially on the move. Whether he stays or goes, it could be good. You guys got a lot of draft capital, a lot of cap space, new offensive coordinator. I mean, I think that just makes people excited.
I still think that the move is, if they can get the kind of swindle they got last year with the Panthers, that's the move, because this is the year you find out if Fields is that dude or not. And whether you trade him now or not is kind of irrelevant if you get the kind of haul you can get by not drafting a quarterback first overall. I think it's kind of, a moot point at that point. So if they can get another haul, maybe pick up another D end, a couple picks, and maybe even another receiver, now you're talking about, if he's not the guy, that's fine, because this team is now loaded and ready for just about anyone to come in on a rookie contract and have a nice 5-year window where they can build around this guy.
Heck yeah, man. All right, I'm excited to draft tonight. I want to talk about some bold predictions real quick as we go through the draft as well. What's up, Rhinoverse in the house? Cole Hollander, SS, man, seeing some guys in the chat I haven't seen in a while. Bob Graff in the house. Good to see you. Joel, good to see you, man.
What's up to Tom? I seen Tom up there.
Tom's up there?
Tom's up there. Yeah.
He's somewhere. I'm getting lost in the chat, but I really appreciate that that super chat from Valcorp. I hope we kind of just, I was reading your mind there, man. Yeah, we did a deep dive into the Patriots there for a minute.
You can star up Cole's question. We can definitely get to that in a little bit.
The Puka Nacua purple?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, well, I wanted to get maybe some bold takes from you. Like, okay, what do you think the Denver Broncos are going to do with Russell Wilson? I mean, first of all, do you think Russell Wilson is a starter still in the NFL?
Yes. Not a top tier guy, but he's better than average. and there's a team that'll want him. In fact, there are teams that want him, and which is great because there's a team that doesn't want him, and that's the team that he's on. So I don't know yet what they're going to do to replace him. I would probably think like a bridge type quarterback, and they draft, maybe not a first round QB, but like a second or third rounder. But Wilson will probably be on the move, and there's definitely a squad out there that's going to want him.
Yeah, just not the Denver Broncos, right? So, I mean, it may present a selling opportunity. I mean, you got teams with a lot of cap space that could potentially pick them up, but I look at the Denver Broncos picking at number 12 overall, and after the way the season ended between Sean Payton and Russ, you got to think the Broncos are going to try and make some kind of power play. They have to move up a little bit. They may very likely make a deal here draft night, a blockbuster deal that, maybe they get rid of Jerry Jeudy, Russell Wilson, move up, get the quarterback they want. Even at 12, I still think they have a good shot at one of these top quarterbacks. There's so many really good quarterbacks coming out this year. You look at the Senior Bowl practices this week, man. And like you mentioned, JJ McCarthy's moving up. Michael Penix is moving up. I mean, it's been fireworks out there for some of these guys. It's been really exciting to see all the beat writers out at the Reese's Senior Bowl, hyping up these college prospects. I mean, so it's going to be lit come draft time. So definitely, if you're not like already speculating, maybe have a little bit of diversification to 2023 Bowman, Chrome University, college rookies that are coming out this year. Definitely want to get some exposure to those guys before they start really going up after the Senior Bowl. So then you get into pro days and combine and then the draft, and it's like all the rage around the NFL. So, and we also have free agency that presents an opportunity. So really interested.
I think they probably move Sutton. I mean, he was the hot name that was the most likely to move all year. I think that's something that they do either now before the draft and go sign either another free agent or potentially bring in a rookie and maybe keep Jeudy. But I think Judy's got a good enough asking price that they maybe even move on from both of them.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I really think the Broncos are going to make a big move here. For that reason, I'm interested in pieces that are going to stay. Denzel Mims, Javonte Williams, I think they're pretty much locked in. I'm excited about those guys. I think that Denzel Mims is going to be a second-year wide receiver that I'm going to target this offseason because he's going to be cheap. He didn't have the breakout games, right? It was Cortland Sutton was the safety blanket. Jerry Jeudy, we kind of know what he is now. He's always going to be like one of those 750, 800 receiving yard guys. He's just a guy. So, like, I want to target the up and coming youth there, and it's going to be exciting especially if they bring in a new quarterback. And then you got like a lot of these teams are locked in, man. You look at these other teams in the top 18. I mean, obviously the Cardinals, I think they're pretty much locked into Kyler. I don't think they move on from Kyler. Obviously the Chargers are locked in on Herbert, and that's an exciting spot because I think, people are buying Herbert before the Harbaugh signing. Obviously they got it right because his cards have gone up considerably from the Harbaugh signing, but I think his cards are going to continue to maintain, Steve. And I think they're going to draft either Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors in the top 10. And then Herbert's cards are just going to keep climbing into September.
Yeah. And I think that, his and Jordan Love's and obviously Purdy, probably those three will be like the carriers of, who the guys are. Everyone's buying at the National. We know how that was last year. So probably those three guys will probably be the big buys. Herbert's have already been going up. I mean, I was buying a lot of Herbert before the news, and, secret's out. People are buying him already. You could see that in a lot of his cards there. So,
but he was down so much that if you look at the 6-month trend, he's really just back to breaking even on
Yeah.
what he was heading into the season. Like his optic hollow is still not back to where it was before the season started. So I look at this as an opportunity to continue buying cards like this for Herbert, because look at what they were at the beginning of September. $425 for his optic hollow, and right now it's still $255. Yeah, we had a $300 buy it now, and yeah, you could have gotten it for as low as $200 even the beginning of December. Like there's some pretty crazy ones, pretty low, around a little bit over 200. But I mean, these cards have still doubled the growth potential in them, or at least 50 to 75% growth potential in them based on what they were at the beginning of last season. I think they get back there, especially when they draft an elite wide receiver.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, I think that team's good enough that if they don't, it doesn't really affect his value. But if they do, it will continue it in the upward trajectory, like the coaching signing did.
What all right, so in terms of free agency, let me ask you, do you think Baker Mayfield stays with the Bucks?
Probably. Probably just because they might be the most likely to overpay for him. Just because he obviously knows their system. He's familiar with the team instead of having to be on like his sixth team in 3 years. So I do think he ultimately stays unless he asks for too much and is not willing to pay for less than X amount or whatever that is. But I think the highest probability is they bring him back on maybe like a 2-year, something like that, just to see if he can continue his success and then go from there.
What about Mike Evans though?
Man, I really hope so, but I have my doubts. If they keep the band together, obviously that helps the chances if Mayfield comes back versus not. But, the guys at this point of their career have money, but they don't have either they have Super Bowl rings or they want another one. So unless he believes that team is ready to win another one, he may be out. And the possibilities are endless. Depending where he goes.
Possibilities are endless, guys. That's the kind of stuff that you want to kind of go after. It's like, do you think? I got one more for you because I've been hearing mixed opinions. So first, let me ask you, in regards to the Buffalo Bills, what do you think about Gabe Davis nowadays? And I guess for that matter, Stephon Diggs too. But I really want to talk about Gabe Davis because his contract's up. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. And right now, Pro Football Focus has him ranked as a top 10 wide receiver free agent heading into this offseason. But of course, obviously behind Mike Evans, behind T. Higgins, behind Calvin Ridley, even behind Darnell Mooney. Would you have Gabe Davis there behind Darnell Mooney? How do you feel about Gabe Davis? Do you think he's any good?
Yeah, no, definitely. And he automatically becomes just about any team's second best receiver for sure. And I wouldn't have him behind Mooney. I mean, to be fair, after Dalton left, we haven't given any of our receivers really a fair shake at playing well outside of DJ Moore. But no, I think that he's a good addition to any team. And there's, I bet, a laundry list of teams that would like to have him. Plus, when you talk about what do guys want in a free agent other than helping him win right away, he's young. He's 24 years old. So he's got a lot of life left. And, maybe it hasn't even hit that maturity point in his career. He's going into his fourth year now. So I think that he'll go on to continue to flourish unless he goes to a dud offense, like the Bears this year, or I don't know, like the Colts. If he goes to a team that has a bona fide QB, then he'll be a good addition.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Gabe Davis is actually, Good. I do agree with you that he's not going to step in and be number one somewhere. He's going to be a number two. Like he's an outside clasher that can win on some deep routes. He's got some good spatial awareness. Can catch those corner and post routes in the end zone, some deep balls and stuff. So I think from that aspect, he's better than a guy like Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Maybe he doesn't have the top end speed, but he's just got better hands. I don't care if MVS just redeemed himself with one catch in the championship game. Gabe Davis has got better hands than guys like that. So I put him ahead of guys like that. But I think where they have him kind of ranked behind all these other guys is pretty accurate. I would even I would definitely put Tyler Boyd ahead of Gabe Davis. I know Odell Beckham Jr. now is
really
31, but I think Odell Beckham Jr. is probably still better than Gabe Davis.
No.
Curtis Samuel. I'd say Curtis Samuel is better than Gabe Davis. Curtis Samuel is fairly young for a 2017 rookie. He's also going to be a free agent this year. The Commanders are a really interesting team. Actually, speaking of Curtis Samuel, because Antonio Gibson's also going to be a free agent. They have new management, new ownership, new coaching. I mean, the whole 9 yards, except Eric Bieniemy is still going to be their offensive coordinator. And Sam Howell just threw the ball an ungodly amount of times this past season. I think number one or top three at least in pass attempts. And they are picking at number 2 overall in the draft. They have a lot of weapons, man. Terry McLaurin's fantastic. He's amazing. Still great. Jahan Dotson's good. Brian, you love Brian Robinson Jr. at the running back position. We both like Logan Thomas at tight end, converted quarterback. I mean, they've got a crap defense, though. Crap defense. They traded away all their best players. We're secondary in the league. So it's I feel like they have so many holes to fill on defense. They couldn't possibly draft a defensive lineman at number 2. Do you think they go quarterback at number 2, or what do you think the Commanders are doing here at number 2?
They got to find a way to get that line working, man, because you can't have your quarterback getting sacked 65 times and expect to win football games or not turn it over. So that does two things when you turn the ball over or don't have a drive that nets you some points. Other than losing games, it puts all the burden on your defense, and they're going to come out there tired every drive. So I don't think going out there and taking a defensive player is necessarily the best choice, unless they have guys they have eyed for alignment in the later rounds. They got to get the line figured out, man. That's their biggest problem. And they did pretty good to start the year on offense with that line, but as you saw as the year went on, it really broke down.
So initial take, Raheem Morris hired by the Atlanta Falcons as their head coach, and they bring in Zach Robinson, former PFF senior analyst, who was prior to that in between a quarterbacks coach for the Rams under Sean McVay. So interesting coaching changes for the Falcons. They're also, as you know, drafting at number 8 overall. And Desmond Ridder was bad. Taylor Heineke was bad. Do you think they're definitely upgrading at quarterback this offseason under these new coaches?
Almost for sure. I know that the ever-living theory of Fields going there is still a thing. So the weird thing is I can't say I've heard any other, legitimate rumors of anyone else going there. I mean, if they were smart, they would either get a QB now instead of continuing to roll the dice on a rookie, or just bring in a guy like a Jacoby Brissett or another guy that's actually serviceable and can run an offense until you figure out who that next guy is going to be,
Well, you can get right. Well, Ridder is not even on the map. His cards are so dirt cheap. It's crazy, man. Silver Prism PSA 10. Let me make sure I'm looking at the 10s. Yeah, I'm looking at the 10s here. His Silver Prism PSA 10s are down 75%. There was one that ended in auction this past Friday for $26. Silver Prism PSA 10s in the $35 neighborhood. And let me pull up Brock Purdy, put him in, put these 20. You know what's wild is that Brock Purdy's only got about 1,500 different rookie cards, right? Kenny Pickett's got 7,000 at the top end. Do you think Kenny Pickett's going to be a starter this in 2024? What do you think the Steelers are going to do, man? I mean, Mason Rudolph finished the season. I mean, Pickett was healthy, ready to come back. He could have, but they said, no, we want Mason Rudolph in there. And Mason Rudolph actually finished the season strong.
Man. Yeah, I don't see I don't see Ritter starting any more games, honestly.
So Brock Purdy's Silver Prism PSA 10 is almost $1,000 card. Ritter's is a $35 card.
And I know you mentioned Pickett too. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think that them not putting them back out there to end the season is kind of the answer to that question. I think that we talked about it all season, and nobody wanted to talk about it because they weren't benching them because they kept winning games, but that was just pure luck. I mean, their scoring ratio was just way off the charts, not in their favor. It was just defense did just enough to help them win the games, and his statistically was like Jamarcus Russell bad just about. So I don't see, barring any injuries, him starting any more games.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I don't either. And if I had to rank these, it looks like in terms of like value for Panini Prism, Silver Prism. Let me do this. Let me go Silver Prism. If I had to rank them, you've got Brock Purdy, then Sam Howell, then Ritter, then Pickett. But it looks like Pickett's it's probably because I have 9s. Oh wow. There's been no 10s of Kenny Pickett's Silver Prism. Great. It's all 9s and 8s. Literally. That is a 60% PSA 8 conversion rate and a 31% 9 conversion rate. Holy cow. So they're really, and the rest are lower than that. So there's no 10s, but the 9s, I guess, are only 20. So if you had a 10, maybe it would go for about the same as the Sam Howell. But yeah, I mean, it's just, there's no, like, it's like these guys are all second fiddle, obviously, to Brock Purdy, but just looking at between these three guys in comparison, it's pretty wild to see how far the difference is, even between Sam Howell and Desmond Ritter, Kenny Pickett.
The problem with, Howell was not an early round quarterback, and Pickett should have not been an early round quarterback. These guys clearly are not ready for that job if they're ever going to be ready for it. So, they should have, if they had better options, which I believe they did. I know we mentioned Brissett not too long ago. You saw how much better he played at the end of the year with Howell with the same line, So I think those guys, if they're going to hang around, should be on the backup QB radar only. So I wouldn't be paying starter prices for those guys. And I would, if you have many leagues where they are sought after by any other team, move on and time to rebuild as far as your quarterback position goes.
Yeah, which leads to potential big spikes in skill position players, and then also whoever they potentially draft. Like, you have to take the market size in consideration, right? I mean, you're going to have a bigger spike if the Patriots draft a quarterback than if the Commanders draft a quarterback. And that's just part of the nature of the beast, You'll still have the spikes there, but I mean, that's if Terry McLaurin was on the Patriots, well, maybe his career would be ruined, but if he was on, let's say, the Packers, or if he was on, a lot of these other teams that have bigger markets, his cards would inherently be more expensive. But, that's kind of what drives a good portion. And we weight that in our algorithm because it's important, collectors like to collect their teams and their players, man. But some markets are a lot smaller than others, like the Cardinals and the Jags and the Commanders and stuff.
For sure. And, we talk a lot about QBs because the hobby seems to be, quarterback centric, but, we've been talking a lot about receivers today. And I think there's a lot of names that we haven't even talked about that these guys will potentially go to a new team and make that team better. You said Gabe Davis. We did mention T. Higgins. Even guys like you said, Darnell Mooney, AJ Osborne are important names. And those are just some of the, smaller names on the list. Michael Pittman, Andy, our beloved Michael Pittman Jr. could end up on a new team.
He could. So make sure you guys stay tuned, because as we progress through the offseason here, we're going to be talking more and more deep dives on these players, potential landing spots, the card values, the cards to target, all that kind of good stuff. But right now, it is time to hop into UnderdogFantasy.com Best Ball Draft.
Hey.
But first, let's shout out to our sponsors. As you guys know, we're part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network. We are proud to be sponsored by CGC Cards Grading and also Empowerment.co. So stay tuned. We'll talk a little bit more about those guys later in the stream. But Underdog Fantasy, right now, we're going to hop in, guys, either a $10 or a $3. Which one should we do, Steve? They got their big board and the little board.
Oh, man, let's take a look here. Hold on, I got mine still loading in here. Let me look on your screen. So let's see. Big board is the $10, $2 million in prizes. Maybe for our the first one, we'll do the $3 one and roll from there.
Work our way up. Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Why can't I find the same screen there on here? Hold on there.
It's all the way on the home screen. Scroll all the way over to the right, guys. You could filter. Just on the home screen, they're featured tournaments. Scroll all the way over to the right, and you got the little board and the big board. Of course, promo code QUEST if you're new to this. They just opened up in like 6 new states. All the states are getting on board. You could do the pick'ems on here. You could do the drafts, guys. Fantasy season's never over, and it's never too early to start, because as you'll see, we're going to correlate where these guys are being drafted with their kind of rookie card market, and take a look at how that carries over between fantasy and cards. And, obviously we talk about player values as we go.
And we talked about this infinitely last year, Andy, and I can't stress this enough, because I'm only preaching this just because I 100% agree with it. But these, in fact, will make you more mentally prepared for your home league drafts and other drafts you have going. Just familiarity with the players, familiarity with the average draft position. This early in the season, maybe just familiarity with players and what teams they're on, or rookies that you have.
Yeah, that's big, man. That's big. All right, guys. So I'm going to count down. I think if we just because once I click enter, and then it's going to pop up a confirmation page. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the enter. So when I hit yes, I'll count down to where I'm hitting yes. But I think you guys should get to this screen, so that way you click one button and you're in, okay? All right, so we're going to count down from 5. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click in. Hopefully we timed that well, so you guys we could get into the same tournament.
Oh,
man.
No, I didn't get in the same one.
No, I didn't get in the same one. Should we just try again? I mean, I'll just put this on auto pick.
Don't worry about
it. It's a $3 draft. I'm not worried about it. I could put it on auto pick and we could try again.
Actually, yeah.
It'll just draft based on my ADP. I'll just turn auto pick on. Who knows? The auto pick may pick me a winning roster. You guys want to try again?
Yeah.
They didn't literally got in that with nobody else, nobody that I know.
All right.
Do you put yours on auto pick too, Steve?
No, it didn't even fill. There was only 3 teams in it.
Oh, should I get in that one?
I left it. We might be able to get in the same one if we click now.
Are you ready? All right. Let's go. Let's click. All right, click. Perfect. Look, there's 3 spots open. I think this is the one that Derek's in.
We're in the same one then. Yep.
Okay. Sweet. I had just filled in 2 spots open, guys. All right. I have to be quick and grab a bottle of water because I'm like parched right now. And I don't want to auto pick, man. Knowing my luck, I'll be the 1.1.
I was going to say, let's see where you're picking first.
I can't start February 1st with an auto pick. These guys will never let me live it down.
You guys should have told them to queue up a couple players just in case. What are you guys thinking? If you had pick 1, are you taking CMC? Is that the automatic first overall pick? Yes or no? Andy, I was proposing the question that is CMC the automatic, no other way first pick overall. There's no other person.
Yeah, he is. Until proven otherwise at this point.
We saw a lot of wild picks last year. We saw some Bijan first picks, and can't remember who some of the other crazy ones were, but
yeah. So I'm gonna pull this out. Go back to the draft. I'm at the 1.8. All right, we got Derek at 1.4. Late stick. What's up, man? 1.3. Late stick in the house. Let's see. Not cool dog. See if I recognize. Oh, we got Bush Leaguers. Man, I love Bush and Messiah both came out of the woodwork to start drafting again. That's awesome.
That's what I said, man. It feels just like the offseason already.
Scout Destiny. And then we got Hitman at the where are you at? I just had you. You're at the 1.10? Yeah, at the 10 spot. Sweet. All right, so we want to talk some more bold predictions as we go through this too.
We're talking Super Bowl or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay. I think
like Derrick Henry. He's been crushing it at the Pro Bowl games. I saw him in the dodgeball games earlier. I mean, this guy is really good at dodgeball. I don't know if you saw the Derrick Henry dodgeball highlights. He's crushing it.
we talked about it in the offseason. I mean, you could see in this man's training intensity and his training regimen. He's not your average running back at his age. He's got a lot left, and he proved that by having, the second most carries in the league and being successful with them. So he's almost for sure contender bound and immediately ready to contribute. So somebody's going to pay up some money, and I think a team like Dallas could be that team.
Dude, I don't know. I don't recognize his name, but he may be in the chat. Raw Slabs and Wax. If you're in the chat, let us know, because that sounds like a very sports card-ish type name. And he's highly experienced on Underdog, which is awesome. So that'd be really cool to see a fellow hobbyist, highly experienced Underdog drafter.
He said contribute dodgeball wise. Contribute to a new team, which is seemingly destined to be on a new team.
Yes, and he's just good at hitting people. I think that's where I was going with the dodgeball. I mean, I think that's where you can draw out of the dodgeball highlights. Look at this, man. Breece Hall at the 1.7. Christian McCaffrey. Man, Puka Nacua. Woof, that feels so rich for Puka Nacua.
I love it, man. I love it.
I will take Kyron Williams though at the one. Kyron Williams was an absolute bell cow. The Rams freaking love that guy. His workload was awesome. Sean McVay's locked in. Stafford's gonna run it back. I will take Kyron Williams at the 8. I think Puka Nacua is a little too rich for me. It's just like buying
Puka. He was gonna slide to me, Andy. So now I'm in a different position here.
Puka's rookie cards are too expensive for me, but raw slabs and wax, maybe he's a breaker. Maybe he's ripping Puka. I mean, I get that. That's the only way I'm getting the Puka Nacua rookie card right now is if I pull him out of a pack. Jonathan Taylor for Hitman at the 1.10.
I thought I was getting Puka, man. I'm a little hurt by that.
So check this out. First round in the books last year, much more wide receiver heavy. This year, it goes Christian McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra. So a little run there. But then it switches over. Breece Hall, I go Kyron. Raw slabs and wax goes Puka at number 9. Then you go Jonathan Taylor, Bijan Robinson, and Jahmyr Gibbs to round out the first round. You got 6 running backs and 6 wide receivers, man. Very balanced. Very balanced. And I think that's kind of what we've seen in the football card market this year as well. A lot more focus has been balanced between running backs and wide receivers. And of course, obviously, quarterbacks still, that's the main differentiator, right? I mean, quarterbacks still have the highest potential just to go crazy.
You know, I know some people don't, but I'm a huge fan of drafting this early. If you look at the ADPs now and after the draft and after free agency, and then the closer you get to the season, you get closer to what people would say is like the true ADP or a consensus ADP, yada, yada, yada. I mean, you can pick an absolute masterclass team early before these guys really shake up into their true draft position. So that's what I like about it.
So Bob can beat you. Bob asks, what is this? I'm new to the stream. Welcome to the quest. Appreciate you tuning in. So we are drafting a best ball fantasy roster for 2024 on underdogfantasy.com right now. Basically what we're doing is we're drafting a big team, a big roster of guys, and then Underdog is just going to optimize our rosters for us on a weekly basis. So it's all about the draft. You draft a team, you set it, forget it. You can log in once a week during the next season and keep track of your points. And whoever gets the most points by the end of the season is going to advance to the playoffs. So just like fantasy football, you have a playoff round after week 13 or 14. This does the same thing, and they consolidate down. So they'll take like the top 2 players from this 12-person league, consolidate down to another league. They'll keep consolidating down to week 17. You're playing against a pool of, maybe 100 guys or less or something like that. And whoever has the best roster takes home all the gold. Takes home the top prize, which for this one, let me pull up the.
Yeah, what was I don't remember what the smaller pool was.
Yeah, $15,000. $15,000 to first place. So the beautiful thing about this is there's no maintenance throughout the season. It's just all about the draft, and then they'll automatically optimize your roster for you on a weekly basis. So you get the most amount of points. For whoever has the most points on your roster that week, you'll get the points for those guys for the positions, just like a standard fantasy team. You've got a quarterback, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, a flex, and a tight end. No defense, no kicker. I'll see if they had the half-point PPR. Yeah, there's the roster. And then 12 bench. And any given week, those bench guys could come in and start. You don't have to swap them out, nothing like that. You just automatically get the most points per position.
Yeah. And if you just don't like maintaining a fantasy lineup, or if you're like us and you just have entirely too many teams to manage, this is the perfect outlet for many reasons. Obviously, the low maintenance and just being able to do more drafts. I mean, how many of you guys are in like 1 or 2 home leagues where you're like, oh man, I really wanted Amon-Ra this year, but I didn't get Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
These are $3 drafts. You could do 10 of them and spend $30, probably still cheaper by a long shot of what your home league drafts cost you.
Man, this is a tough pick here. I'm going to Olave. He gets so many targets last year, man. He clear alpha, very, very good. I think the Saints are going to continue passing the ball a ton, whether it's Derek Carr or somebody else. Obviously, it's not going to be Jameis Winston. And I like having a guy that's just got a clear path to putting up those 20, 30 fantasy point games any given week. Although Mike Evans could do that, but I'm a little concerned about the new offensive coordinator. And if our offense is going to take a step back this next year, as well as Mike just going to a different team, not knowing where he's going, the Chiefs would be good for him.
Oh man,
and there wouldn't be much of a uniform color
change too, but I can't be mad at taking Mike Evans either.
Yeah, I mean, look at Olave. He had almost 2,000 air yards last year and only 5 touchdowns. He still put up 1,100 receiving yards, but the guy literally could have been the wide receiver number 2 overall. You know, number 2 or number 3 had the target quality been better. You know, it's unfortunate Derek Carr's got kind of a noodle arm now, and at least for a large part of the season, and he wasn't really pushing it. But Chris Olave is that guy. I mean, he's a beast. You know, obviously he's twin brothers with Garrett Wilson, so that's a pretty good guy to be twin brothers with.
I'm gonna do a dice roll on my guy T. Higgins. He's either healthy and back with the Bengals, or he is healthy and back with the new team potentially. So they probably tag him and keep him. But
Higgins was going in the second round. Right? Second to third round. Look at this raw slabs and wax guy just stacking up all the popular wide receivers. Jalen Waddle was also a second round pick last year. Right now he's sliding
he's already
to the
got
fourth.
a couple of the fantasy card quest heroes, man. Nico, Dell, Puka.
So now we're starting to get into that range where I'm tempted to take a QB, maybe James Cook. Man, I don't know if that's a good move or not there. I kind of panicked. I didn't want to auto pick. It wasn't a true pick, but it wasn't a complete auto pick. I did star him up. He was at the top of the thing. I don't know why I'm defending myself for almost auto picking. It is what it is. Everybody knows everybody knows it's gonna happen. You get 30 seconds per pick on here, guys. So it moves fast. It's part of the fun of it and the challenging aspect of the draft. It's not like they let you sit there like your home league for 5 minutes and everybody's like, dude, are you gonna make your pick yet?
Yeah, there's no request for extra time. If it runs out, it runs out, and it does take a pick for you. So.
And Late Stick is over here trying to cook dinner for his kids and drafting at the same time. Picks Tua in the third round. So some big observations I'm noticing. Isaiah Pacheco up big time. Last year, he was being drafted in the 5th, 6th round. Now he's being drafted in the 3rd. Direct correlation to an average value increase in his cards. Obviously, he's in the Super Bowl, so that helps. He always runs like someone's just stole his lunch money or someone's trying to steal his lunch money. Marvin Harrison Jr., not even drafted yet, rookie, being taken in the end of the 2nd round is huge. So from a skill position player standpoint, he is the most hyped up skill position player I think we're going to have seen in some time, more than Bijan Robinson. So it's almost like one of those situations where it almost makes sense to buy Marvin Harrison Jr. cards, even if you have to pay a premium for them, because his hype is only going to keep going up, Steve. It was like, you know, when those rookie premier hollows came out in the summer last year for Bijan and those guys. Oh, yeah. They probably settled down now, even though they're really hard to find still because they were super rare. But
I was just going to interject. You don't see them on eBay very often.
No. But if you remember when they first came out, you had to buy them for a premium. Like I had to buy the Bijan. I bought it for like, I think man, did I paid like $60 or $70 for that card, non-auto, silver hollow. But I turned around and sold it for like 150. And I think they even climbed up a little bit more than that. Now, obviously, Bijan's market came way back down during the season, but that happened for all the players. So you get the opportunity for anything Marvin Harrison Jr. that's like that, or even Bowman Chrome University that's serial numbered, potentially autographed. I think those are all going to go up in value when it comes draft time.
And I think that there's been a big push, at least from an advertising perspective, for Bowman and Bowman First. We go back to when that product came out for football. I talked about how lucrative of a product that was for baseball, and it being the most desirable card for a baseball player. Key difference being that baseball players, Bowman First is in the pro uniform versus football being not. But that being said, there is a big push by fanatics for these Bowman products, and I think that that'll only continue to make them more popular.
James is a legend, dude. This is a real sniper right here on the Quest. He bought that same Bijan for $7 last week, guaranteed in an auction. What a snipe, man. What a snipe. Well, so this is interesting, Cole. I think Caleb will have that similar effect, but not quite to the extent. I think it's going to more depend on the landing spot for Caleb. But it's also going to be, how good does Caleb look throughout the Senior Bowl process? It's been okay, but it's not like, hasn't been fantastic. And then we'll see how he tests at the combine. Let's see how he actually gets drafted. If Jaden Daniels, if Bo Nix, if some of these other guys like go ahead of him by chance, look at CJ Stroud. He went to the Texans. His values didn't necessarily spike. It was Anthony Richardson's that spiked through the draft process, because he came from being a second, third round projected pick to, oh my God, this guy is an athletic freak. And the Colts have a bigger market than the Texans, and people were just down on the Texans as a whole. Their defense was underrated. New head coach DeMeco Ryans. Like, people didn't really think that they were gonna be that good. New OC Bobby Slowick. So,
well, they, and a lot of people, and I think myself included, were a little critical of them giving up everything for 2 early picks. And, honestly, most of the time, Andy, we know that doesn't go favorably, right? It just happened to go their way this time. And it's just like the Lions, man. When you go for it on 4th and you get it, you're the hero. And when you don't, well, then you're the loser. And, they made a gamble and it worked out. So we'll see. I think a lot of other teams, based on Houston's success doing that last year, use that as a trade model potentially for this year.
I think your ideal scenario for Caleb is that he goes to the Patriots at number 3. Because the Patriots market is just massive. Whichever quarterback gets drafted by the Patriots is probably going to go up the most.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
I don't think anyone would look at his gameplay outside of maybe a couple, bad games he had and say that he's not talented. But I think that his off-field persona has begun to rub a lot of people in the wrong way. So trust me, that's the thing that a lot of teams look at too.
It very much is. Look at Will Levis. Kind of seems like his. I mean, obviously he had the arm talent and everything, but I think some of his off the field persona kind of torpedoed him down the draft board a little bit last year. So it'll be interesting to see. I think everybody's so convinced that, 4, 6 quarterbacks are going to go top 10, but these scouts, man, and these front offices and these war rooms, they get goofy, man. They start all of a sudden, we see trades, and then they go linemen, and then all of a sudden quarterbacks start falling. But there's obviously some that we know are going to be like, hey, should have seen this coming. And I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is that guy. That's definitely going to be that guy, especially when you look at how early Bijan was taken last year, how early Drake London was taken the year before that. And these aren't. I mean, Bijan, I guess, is considered a generational prospect, but Marvin Harrison is, I think, even ahead of him.
What do we got here? And you got to think, when you think about, not every QB is a lock, and not every guy is the next Pat Mahomes or the Brady. You hear it every year, but I think the reality is some guys are the next Johnny Manziel. And if they're a little bit wacky in the head, that is possible. So don't just hear all the selling words. They're salesmen. These guys want to sell you that this is the next best guy in the next best draft class, and that's not always true.
I think Will Levis is a. What do you think about Tennessee Titans? Will Levis. I kind of think that Will Levis is going to be the starter next year.
They give him a shot to start.
Yeah,
they give him a shot to start for sure.
I mean, that line was so bad last year.
Yeah, we talked about that early in the year after Tannehill was getting murdered every week. I mean, you'd think that somebody hit like the pause button halfway through the snap because these guys were just getting bottled up and rolled over on. So.
Look how far Tony Pollard has fallen. So now we're entering round 8. Tony Pollard just got drafted at the end of round 7. He was a second-round pick last year. Second-round pick. Nick Chubb has fallen. Nick Chubb was a second-round running back. He has fallen now to 61, coming off a pretty bad ACL. Josh Jacobs has fallen. He was a second to third round running back. Derrick Henry was a second to third round running back. He's fallen to 5. I mean, you're looking at a lot of running backs fallen. There's also was a lot of running backs that went up. So big changing of the guard in running back. Austin Eckler was a first round pick last year, and now he has fallen to the 6th round. Right behind Tyjae Spears. So Tyjae Spears coming from being absolutely free last year as a rookie to now projected as a stud, which I wonder if that has really sunk in on his rookie card market yet. I know we were early. I wrote him up an Auction Sniper article. Had to, especially after Carter let the cat out of the bag. But that's what we do. That's what our job is, to share this information with you guys. So,
Deontay, man, I love it.
Yeah, I
hope Swift doesn't go to Dallas. Ooh, man. Pollard played like he had mono all last year. That might be the best. That might be the comment of the night. And that might be the realist, too. I mean, he seemed a shell of him of his former self, Andy. Oh, we got a run on QBs. Late stick on the clock. Late stick was apologizing or making excuses for taking Tua earlier. I don't hate it, man. I think it was a fine pick, especially because he took Tyreek Hill. Oh, Andy, you're muted.
I got my computer muted me.
There you go. I was like, man, he must be really thinking about his next pick. He got really quiet.
When did you how long ago did I get muted?
60 seconds, maybe.
I was just saying how bad of a pick that was from Late Stick at number 27, because he could have literally had the pick of the litter. Got bell cow running back still on the board. You got DK freaking Metcalf, which, by the way, for a third round wide receiver, probably has the most expensive rookie autos that still sell for like $100. It's crazy. I think he's such a great like card play, but then I go look at his market. I'm like, Jesus, good Lord, he's so expensive. Still, because he's just an athletic freak, is DK Metcalf. Mike Evans is pretty expensive, all things considered, Steve. Mike Evans has turned into a really good long-term investment. You know what? I like Jacoby Myers. I think he's locked in. No, I gotta go Kyle Pitts here, man. Kyle Pitts still on the board at 104 with the Falcons potentially getting a massive quarterback upgrade. They get a massive offensive coordinator up. See, people are, I think, overlooking the fact that this offensive coordinator upgrade for Atlanta is huge, man. Raheem Morris is not going to call the plays. He's going to bring the people together. He's like Dan Campbell, you know? He's going to bring the coordinators together. And you gotta go back and look at what Bobby Slowick did last year for the Houston Texans, rookie quarterback CJ Stroud. So whether the Atlanta Falcons bring in Justin Fields or whoever, veteran, Kyle Pitts is going to have a much better role next year than he did last year. All the Atlanta weapons are going to have much better roles. The offense is going to look totally different. I cannot believe this is another coaching hire that shocked me. I guess it's kind of like once you're a coach in the NFL, you get into like this good old boys club. But Arthur Smith hired as the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. I totally blanked on that and forgot to mention that we were talking about Kenny Pickett and the Steelers.
Definitely
Like,
a bit sus, man.
Good Lord, how do you know? So that means that we should be drafting Jaylen Warren a little bit more, because there's going to be games where Arthur Smith is like giving these high value touches to Jaylen Warren and not Najee Harris, and it's going to be highly unpredictable. Whereas I think Atlanta is going to be predictable next year. I think they're going to be fun team to invest in and watch, because they're going to put up some points.
Man, I hope so. They got too many good skill position guys to just be that terrible.
Late stick. Oh, I know you auto picked him late stick, but I was trying to be funny. I was trying to joke on you, man. But then I was muted, and then the second time I did it, it was not the same.
You'll be fine, man. Sometimes those are the kind of picks that
Who'd I
make
get?
all the difference.
There's an auto pick. Damn it. Well, Marquise Brown, 11 picks after ADP. That's not bad. He still plays with Kyler Murray and still have that chemistry. So he's still a boomer bust. Yeah, somebody, I think it was maybe Cole, somebody said earlier in the live stream, they feel that a good strategy for underdog best ball drafts would be targeting boomer bust guys. Yeah. that actually is a pretty good strategy because you really just need to get a couple spike weeks, especially towards the end of the season, right? If you can get enough points to get to the playoffs, and then you just need to get one spike week at the right time, and you're in. And you're in.
Yeah. And you just got to hope that those guys that do go off stagger well with, a couple other guys that go off.
So Jamison Williams, Jacoby Myers, and Jerry Jeudy. I actually like Jacoby Myers the best out of all three of them. Which one do you like better out of those three guys?
Myers, Jeudy, or who was the other one?
Jamison Williams.
I actually think Jamison Williams has turned a corner, and I like Jamison Williams.
Really?
Yeah.
You hear this, folks?
Believe it or not. He's actually, if you saw how they used him in the playoffs, Andy, he's kind of a key component of that offense all of a sudden. They haven't fully implemented him in the passing game just yet, but they're using him as a runner and a big play threat. So I like him. I think that if they improve his role, he's got a lot to offer, but he's still kind of a situational play.
It does seem like he's shown a lot more upside this year. And that is facts. So I'll give him that. I'm not convinced he can produce at any level of consistency. And I'm not sure what's going to happen with the Lions offense next year under a different offensive coordinator. So sure as hell ain't going to be Dan Campbell calling any plays. And they're going to lose their offensive coordinator that has really brought the Lions to life, Ben Johnson. He's the front runner for the head coaching job of the Washington Commanders right now. So it's only a matter of time before they lose him. Ben Johnson's going to be promoted to a head coach somewhere else. And now they're going to be forced to bring in a new offensive coordinator, promote somebody from within. So you never know what you're going to get when that happens, you know? So I do think I like him a little bit, but not as much as you, that's for sure. Has his card prices come down to where they're like correlated with his ADP?
They're pretty reasonable. They're pretty reasonable now. They are still a bit up there, and I think that a lot of that's the name recognition and the fact that the Lions were just in the playoffs. But I think with the new rookie class coming in, you'll get a break if you're looking to pick some of his stuff up.
Normal Austin thinks Ben Johnson's staying. I don't think he's staying, man. Oh, he did. I must have missed a news post earlier. Wow, that's huge,
out,
man.
Baby, let's go.
Dude, that's huge for Detroit. That is huge for Detroit's offense.
Yeah, I mean that. If you haven't begun to believe yet, I mean that offense is pretty incredible, man.
If he stays, I would be targeting all the Detroit guys in auctions this offseason. Like I'm in on all of them. Jared Goff. Yep, let's do it. Let's get exposure to the entire offense. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown's, he's just aged like a fine wine. Like his rookie cards for being in such an overprinted year of 2021, his cards have just increased in value. When you look at other guys that have gone down and dipped and struggled for get optic hollows up over that $10 hump, Amon-Ra St. Brown just continues to become more and more and more and more and more demanded.
Yeah, not yet the household name, but there's if you're into football at all at this point, you've got to know who he is.
Sign me up, baby. I'm gonna draft Jaden Daniels at pick 137. That one's for Carter, the power, right there.
Maybe the next Falcons QB.
Wow, he said no to the Seahawks and I thought for sure he was going to become the next head coach of the Commanders.
Man, no one wants that
He
job.
said, as a Lions fan, I fell down to my knees when I heard the news. Yeah, man. Congrats, dude. That's huge, man. That is really huge.
And the Lions are, Andy, we talked about this. We've been talking about this, but the Lions are built to win for a while. I mean, that nucleus is young. And now, I don't think it's even a question anymore. I know that, you thought maybe that them taking a rookie would mean that Goff's on his way out, but I can't see that happening.
Yeah, they're just going to keep tweaking the defense. I think the Lions are right back in the thick of the playoffs next year. I mean, yeah, you're right. That offensive line is just young and strapping. It's full of Vikings and Samoan guys and beasts.
Yeah.
Give Goff time. I mean, you got a great core. Well, in that case, then I will definitely take some flyers on Jameson Williams because we got a taste of his upside here at the end of this season in the playoffs. And this offense, you never know. I think their defense is going to be decent. Yeah, they got some good pieces here and there. Brian Branch is awesome, but he struggled to stay healthy. They missed C.J. Gardner-Johnson missed most of the season. Then he started showboating too early in the championship game. And I love Hutch, man. Hutch is awesome. They need more pieces on defense, but that offense is incredible.
Yeah, I agree, man. And when you have that many pieces already, then
and obviously you get rid of Josh Reynolds, right?
The puzzle that much easier.
Obviously you get rid of Josh Reynolds.
He started the season so well, but those playoff drops, man, that's hard to forget.
It's brutal, man. It's freaking brutal. Well, you could replace him with all kinds of guys. Like this cat that Mitch McCurd drafted in round 11, Rashid Shaheed for New Orleans, was awesome last year for New Orleans. Really liked him. The Vikings are another really interesting team, with Kirk Cousins. Do you think they figure out a way to bring him back, or is Kirk Cousins gone? I mean, he's a free agent. Kirk Cousins is technically going to be a free agent. I think he could be a massive piece.
I think they have to. I mean, the team is built to win now. Not bringing him back would be a fatal error. So I think that they have to figure out a way to do it. But there's that info, that rumor that Jefferson wants to play with Cousins. So if they don't find a way to bring Cousins back, does that mean that Jefferson doesn't want to stay? I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I think he stays. I think Cousins stays in Minnesota. He's such a good passer for them when he's healthy. He's got to take a team-friendly deal, but I think he stays. And they'll be good. They'll be pretty good. Their defense is hit or miss. I mean, they start off the season bad, then they got better. Their defense kept getting better and better. And then they kind of all right, they hit their apex and they kind of regressed a little bit back to the mean, finished about middle of the pack. I think, I don't know, man. I think Cousins, I think they figure out a way to work him in there.
Yeah, man. T-Hawk should be ready to start the season too. I mean, another team, same division, just so many weapons, and to see those go to waste would really be a shame.
See, Kirk wants $30 million a season.
Man, what do I want here?
Oh yeah, here. All right, so we're getting into some rookie picks here. obviously I got to do more research into the rookie class because some of these guys I haven't heard of yet. I'm gonna have to get Derek to school me up, start studying this rookie class, man. This is the time to do it. I started up a couple comments from earlier in the chats. Thank you again for that super chat, Valcorp. Messiah, do I have any Purdy cards in my collection? No, I do not, unfortunately. Or I would be listing them for sale. They would be listed for sale. Gabe Davis. Oh, I start up. Yeah, see, I start up some of his recommendations at college prospecting. There we go. There's Cole's comment. He auctioned a. Oh man, I got auto picked. Crap. I got Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, that's all right.
161. Interesting. So at pick 161, Cole said he auctioned a Donruss Optic Nakua Purple out of 50 PSA 10, and he figured because it was a pop one, it would sell pretty well. A hollow did 340, but his ended for 20s. What? Wait. When did you end this auction? I have to know when you ended this auction.
That was going to be my first question too.
Yeah, Cole. When did you end this auction would be my first question. Oh, good Lord. I was about to say 260. Okay, it was still, I mean, you shouldn't be taking any discounts on Puka right now. So my first question would be,
when you said 26, I was like, man, I hope that's not correct, man, because that would be criminal.
Yeah, let me hide this because there you are, Steve. I lost you there for a second. You were hiding behind the comment. Thursday. See, that's
probably why, man.
That's why. That's partly reason, Cole. This is not the optimal time to end auctions, brother. The best time to end an auction is going to be like Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night. You want to do that thing like 10, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you get the West Coast people time to get their kids in bed and crack a cold one. Whoa, I lost the draft board. Where's the screw it. Auto picked again. Jaleel McLaughlin, great. Actually, Jaleel McLaughlin has some juice. But you want to end those at night.
Rounds, Andy?
Say what?
18 rounds. These drafts.
It feels big, doesn't it? But it almost seems like we got a bigger draft now. Yeah, 20 rounds.
20 rounds.
20 rounds.
Okay. Damn, all right. Let's go. That's even better.
Also, I'm curious, Cole, did you start it out at 99 cents or did you start it at $20, $40, $100? You started out, what'd you start it out at? But definitely that would be my top takeaway. And then I'm actually gonna go pull it up. Because I'm curious to see what your photos look like. I'm also interested to see what your seller ranking is. So I think this is the one he's talking about right here. Let me see. Started at 99 cents. Okay. Whoa. Purple out of 50 PSA 10. Okay. Oh man. My whoa. My draft is just whoa. I don't know what I'm doing anymore, man. I keep zooming in and zooming out for some reason. Just draft a Tyler
Conklin. Shift on accident?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're.
Oh, whoops. I was holding control.
There you go. It was one of those.
All right. So I got the card pulled up. So wait a minute. The label says it's a purple, but the card itself looks blue. So my next question, Cole, is this a scan or an actual photo with your phone? It looks like a scan.
I'm wondering if it's just the lighting, because it definitely looks blue.
I'm trying to find another one. This is the pink. But look at how you get the rainbow shine. You know, you get all the colors popping on that one. And this one, it looks very flat. You know, you don't get the colors popping. You don't get I don't see any rainbow shine, which tells me it's probably a scan.
Oh, he said it's a scan.
Yeah. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do a scan, brother. Because it just, if you notice, it makes it look flat. It doesn't give it that real depth to it like this card does, or even better, if I could find one that's like actually even something like this or something like this that's sitting on the wood desk. It still has that rainbow prism shine to it. It just gives it a lot of that. So there's I think maybe that's the card right there out of 48. Look at that one. That's a hollow. I would do it on something like this. I know this is the raw cards, but man, if you could give it some kind of depth and make it shine like that with some good phone photography, I think that would have helped it out. And then, yeah, you're 100% positive with 80. I mean, so you don't have the star next to your name, so you're not a top-rated seller yet. So that's also going to kind of go against you in the algorithm. You probably would have been better off either just listing this in a buy it now or submitting this to like DC Sports 87 and having them auction it off in their consignment, because they're going to get just an insane amount of eyeballs on their auctions.
I probably would have rolled a buy it now, or just ended it, around like 8 p.m. Central, or whatever your time zone is, when you want the most eyes on it. I know I watch auctions that end at awkward times, like during the day, and sometimes you just get hung up at work and you just don't get that chance to make that bid like when you were planning on it.
This is how DC Sports 87 takes all their pictures, and it's you know it's them because they always take their pictures like this. So you don't have to have a stack of slabs in the background, but they they bring the card to life. It's got depth to it. It doesn't look flat and dull. It's like the colors are popping. The actual slab, you can tell it's like it's real. I think that's important when people are prospecting for cards to buy. And then, yeah, I mean, it's tough. You're a newer seller. You're obviously 100%. Yeah, the ending time, I think, can be a big deal. You can sell a bunch of smaller cards too. Get your points up here. Also get that top-rated seller status. You're going to save another 2% on eBay fees by doing that. Just a little hobby tip there for you. Oh, good Lord. I know, Derek. I've gave up on this one, man. This is just... I was doing good until the whole Rodgers pick. And I just fell apart, man. Fell apart.
You know what? Yeah, why not? Who knows where this man will be? Derek, if Andy wins, man, you can't laugh at him.
Budini's Cards and Comics says he has some CJ Stroud cards listed in auctions that end the Saturday night before the Super Bowl, which is when I think the Rookie of the Year announcement happens. Ooh, I think that's sharp, man. That's a good time to end a Puka Nacua auction too, honestly, because he's rumored to be right there as well. So
I will say this, not just for ending auctions on game day, but just in general. eBay has the way to set it up so that you get a bidder to lock in their payment before they bid and or send you an offer. Just make sure you've got that set up, because I will say that having sold many Burrows in their Super Bowl run and Super Bowl game, there was at least a couple non-payers. So now that's going to happen no matter how you sell. But if you have the payment set up where they're locking in the bid before they're locking in the what is it called? The commitment when they bid, then they don't have the ability to bail out on you. So, and people will bid, Andy, especially on a Super Bowl game, for example, on the winning player. And if the team loses, you have a greater likelihood they don't pay. So I would definitely make sure your auctions are set up accordingly. $340 for a Mahomes rated rookie, Donruss. Base Donruss? Let's see. Andy, I know Andy will pull it up on the screen for us here.
Sorry,
we get a 130 point on a Mahomes PSA 9 Donruss.
It's too much. I'll pull it up though.
I feel like that's got to be like around the average though.
Especially
around playoff time right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like egregious, but
it might be just above, honestly.
And his base Donruss is like $1,000 card, so let's look at the 9.
307. Yeah. Well,
see,
there
307
you go. There's sales in that realm.
340. But just know, like, Mahomes always hits a mid-season dip, man, every year.
And after they won last time, his cards actually went down.
Yeah, and then September again, he's going to spike back up. So C400. So, I mean, buying 340, you'll be okay, but you're not getting much of a discount. And you may be able to flip it real quick for a few bucks if you wanted to, or be okay long term. But if you really want to know what the floor is, that 52-week low is about $200. 200, 260. Yeah.
Dope.
Auto pick again?
I had Russ lined up. No, I don't know what I'm going to take here.
Oh, man, I didn't want another quarterback. Dude, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Golly. I auto picks. That's the worst. That I am just the worst, dude. I should be
Hey, you know what?
I should be canceled for that.
Get in your rhythm, Andy. Part of your regimen.
Good Lord.
We're going to be drafting every week. You got to get back in the draft rhythm.
Yeah. I need to back in the draft rhythm. I'm not in the draft rhythm, man. It was rough. I just texted Carter, and I was like, "This is rough, man. I'm doing the best," because I know he did one like a week ago. I don't know if you did it with him.
Oh, he asked me, but it was after work, and I wasn't going to be home for a while, so I'm torn here. But you know what?
Cole,
definitely worse last round picks than that.
when you sell, do a buy it now and click that button that says require immediate payment and sell that way, because that's another reason why I don't sell in auctions, because eBay has yet to roll out the update that requires people to put in their payment information.
I have seen it happen though, where I've tried to bid and it confirmed a payment first. So it's definitely at least in play. I don't know if it's all the way across eBay, but it's in play.
I think it holds at that $300 range. What do you think, Steve? The Mahomes
he's
not based on PSA 9.
Yeah, he's going to be like the NFL and hobby darling for a long time. And you know what? If he does continue to run down Brady and try to truly become the greatest, like that's the only path to that card really growing a lot, because those prices already have that mentality built into it.
Yeah. It's just it is gonna dip. It is gonna go through like mid-season. He's the mid-season dip. Like he's the classic mid-season dip guy.
Looking back at my team, I think the only regret I have is not taking a third tight end.
Because expectations are so high for him. And then if he does any little thing, just, somebody looks at him, he looks at somebody wrong. He messes with another kicker's what do you call that, warm up stick or whatever, the kickstand for the football?
Yeah.
People start calling Mahomes a punk again, It's a little dip, man.
Holy. That was kind of funny though. Suppose they can spin it however they want because that's what they do, but I guess Tucker was smack talking, so.
Yeah, I'm sure. Tucker's a trash talker, and Mahomes was messing with him. They spun that the way they wanted to spin it,
Yeah. If you saw before the game, they showed like tons of guys shoving each other and stuff, like in pregame warmups. Like the game hadn't even started yet, so that there was definitely a lot of heat from both sides. Are you looking to looking to redeem yourself tonight, or are you waving the red flag on that one?
I'm totally waving the red flag, but I now know I need to put in some research between this time and next week. But yeah, I'm definitely waving the red flag. Hollow Cards, man, appreciate the super chat. He said, thanks for the Opions, guys. Hey, I didn't give you any Opions, man. I did give you some opinions.
Yeah, here's the thing, and again, reiterating what we said earlier, these are a good chance at a flyer at making it to the next round and winning this thing. Not to mention a good way to get familiar with 95% auto pick. A good way to get familiar with where guys are going, for not just the veterans but some of the rookies that, whether you're familiar with them or not, you're now learning their names. And like you said, Andy, looking at the guys that have slid, look at Cooper Kupp, fourth round, Mahomes, Hurts. Those are guys that were going in the second round last year. QBs were going much earlier last year. What's another one that sticks out? You pointed out Olave. He was going at like the back end of the first round last year, or the beginning of the second round. So it's interesting. Nico was like a 12th round pick last year. Very justifiably so, a second rounder now.
That's huge, man. Absolutely insane difference. And I know his values went up a lot in rookie cards, but I feel like because of the 2021 draft class element and the whole auction element of what we deal with in sports cards, you could probably still snipe Nico Collins for relatively cheap prices. Maybe not right now. I don't know. You may have to wait till May, June, till after the draft, and like when everybody's focused on the new rookie class, and there's a little bit of distraction from what CJ Stroud and Nico Collins did. Hopefully Tank Dell prices will get a little bit cheaper then too. I think that'll probably be his bottom. I definitely want to buy into him too.
I don't know if you play Madden, Andy. I don't know. I'm sure some of the people watching play Madden, but Madden rating adjusters, can we give Nico Collins some love, man? The guy is not a normal dev player, man. Hook him up. He is a superstar.
Yeah, he can move, man. He's a big man too.
Any guys that you thought that you were going to end up with in the draft that slipped through your fingers?
What was that, Steve? You asked me a question?
Yeah, any guys that you thought, you had a chance at getting, or maybe were coming up right before your pick that slipped through your fingers? I'll say mine first. Mayfield, because I drafted 2 Tampa receivers, and again, these are very early ADPs. So if there's a guy you want, you can't always wait till it gets close, because these guys are going to be all over the place.
Where did Baker go?
14.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, he sure did, man. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, with how well he played this year, that is a great value there.
No, very interesting. No, I got a lot of homework to do, man. But this has been very enlightening, interesting. Good to get my feet wet back on the old auto pick grind, and really enjoyed this live stream tonight, Steve. I have been thoroughly stimulated, my friend. And
did we address all of these starred comments?
We did. I started this one up for myself, selfishly, from Gabe Davis. A couple rookies there. I want to do some more research on. We hit Coles. Nice. Yeah, we're good to go, man. Yeah, shout out to our sponsors again. Shout out to everybody in the community. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Subscribe.
I saw that the CSG had a booth at Culture Collision. I don't know if you saw any of the clips from any of the lives from Culture Collision, but saw they had a booth. So hopefully they have one next time they're around, and we can go say what's up.
Cleveland, Ohio, summer 2024.
Let's go,
there, baby.
Coming soon.
All right, y'all. Stay tuned. We'll see you in that next episode. Peace out.
Good night, guys.
Bye.